Hello there, and welcome to the 400 level, a Phillies podcast, the debut episode on the Olde City Sports Network. My name is David Wakeman, and we are here to discuss the NLDS preview between the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Dodgers just swept out Cincinnati in two straight, and we'll start the series against Philadelphia on Saturday. Now, during the regular season, Phillies won 4 of 6 against LA. Recently, they just won 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium in September, which was very key. At least the Phillies now know that they can win out in Los Angeles. However, the momentum thing, I really do not take it too seriously. It's mostly because the playoffs are a different beast than the regular season. And I'll give you a prime example. Back in 1983, the Phillies actually played the Dodgers 12 times in the regular season. Dodgers won 11 of the 12. They met up in the NLCS. Phillies won the series in 4 games. So, granted, the Phillies won the season series this year, and that's great. But, like I said, we'll see what happens when it comes to the playoffs. And this LA Dodgers team, the defending world champions, are a very, very fantastic ball club still to this day. In regards to the pitchers for the preview, this is where it's interesting to kind of look at it when you kind of step back and look at the situation. In regards to LA, they're probably going. I mean, they're starting Shohei Ohtani on Saturday. How long will he go? We don't know. I mean, even if he pitches well, I mean, he's coming back from major arm surgery. I think he's ramped up now to 5 innings the last game he's pitched. He pitched against the Phillies in September. He only went 5 innings. Will he go long? Maybe, maybe not, depending on if the Phillies bats can get him out early. We'll see. Also, they will have as well Snell and Yamamoto to deal with in terms of facing the Phillies. And the one thing that's key there is for the Phillies is to get both of these guys out of there early. Snell and Yamamoto both went 7 in their playoff appearances against the Reds. So the key for Philadelphia there is to work deep counts and, if possible, get on base and get these guys out so you can attack the Dodgers bullpen. In regards to Philadelphia, though, they have a much different situation. What killed them this year, well, not killed them, but close to it, was losing Zach Wheeler for up to 9 months, maybe even more, with the major arm surgery that he had. So now you're relying on Christopher Sanchez, who's had a fantastic season, as well as Jesus Luzardo and Ranger Suarez. Now, the thing that kind of helps out the team is you also have some other arms that will help out in case any of these guys get into trouble, especially maybe Suarez and Luzardo. Aaron Nola will be back. Did not have a great regular season at all of his ERA well above 6. Walker Buehler, who they just got on a waiver wire before the playoffs from Boston, who had a bad year up there, but now he's with the team. He can both help him out in long relief. So that's a key for them as well. As regards to the bullpens, this is where this can either help the Dodgers or the Phillies advance to the NLCS. The Dodgers bullpen is not that good. Tanner Scott, for example, has an ERA nearly at 5. He's been getting shellacked the last month of the season before the playoffs began. Blake Trinan has an ERA of 5.40, has not pitched well at all. So there's another situation there where you got to keep an eye on. Now, these are, of course, the guys that, like you said, if they don't make the postseason roster, then things can always flip. There are some guys out there who didn't pitch in the wild card that could pitch now. They also have some, like I said, they have some other guys as well who can come back. Banda, Vesia, Sheehan. So they're all, have a chance to help out the Dodgers as well. There's a couple guys, though, that you got to keep an eye on in terms of will they get on the postseason roster or play. Clayton Kershaw, who is retiring at the end of the season, has had a great season as well with an ERA at 3.36, which is really good. And then you have Tyler Glass now, who didn't pitch at all in the wild card, and he's still out there at 3.19 ERA. he can help out. Maybe he's the long relief guy in case one of these other guys struggle. And the other guy who will help out in the bullpen, and actually he closed game 2 against the Reds, is Sasaki, who had a high ERA as a starter and really had some confidence issues early on. But then in his last outing here, when he went against the Reds, he struck out, I believe it was 4 or 5 batters. So seems like he's got his confidence back as the season went on, and that's going to be huge for the Dodgers to see if they can attack the Phillies when they come to bat. Now, as regards to the Phils, you got, like I said, their bullpen. Jose Alvarado will not be pitching because he got suspended during the season, so he's out. So you now have to rely on Tanner Banks, who had a 3.07 ERA, Ryan Kerkering, who struggled now and then, but he finished up with a 3.30 ERA, although against the Dodgers, though, he is allowing Dodger batters to hit 417 against them, which is not a good sign, as well as David Robertson, who came back late in the season for one last run and a chance to win a ring. His ERA was at 4, but he's also allowed a 296 average against Dodger batters in his career. Matt Strahm, solid season at 2.74, key 7th, 8th inning when you need him. The issue with him is allowing home runs against the Dodgers. He's allowed 4 in his career against LA, and also an average of 275. And then finally, you have Johan Duran, who they got from Minnesota. Fantastic trade for most of the season. ERA at 2.18. However, in his career, 292 average against Dodger hitters with allowing 3 home runs. So that should be a good chess match between the two clubs to see who comes out of this on top. Now, the key after this one is going to be the hitters. And this is something that when I looked at the numbers when I was on different websites, that there were some things that kind of caught me off guard. Surprisingly, on different levels. First of all, for Los Angeles, is the amount of lifetime homers and their averages against Phillies pitchers in their career. You start off with Ohtani. In his career, lifetime, he's batting 282 against the Phillies with 9 home runs. Then you go down the list, and it's one after the other in terms of guys who've hit well against Phillies pitching. Freddie Freeman, the Dodgers' first baseman, is batting 259 lifetime with 8 home runs. Mookie Betts, their fantastic shortstop, is batting 322 with 7 career home runs. Teoscar Hernandez, who plays right field for the Dodgers, is batting 273 with 6 career home runs. And actually, in his career against Game 1 starter Christopher Sanchez, he's 5 for 12. It's a 417 average with 2 lifetime home runs. Also, Kiki Hernandez is batting 253 with 4 home runs. And even Max Muncy, their third baseman, who's had terrible numbers against the Phillies lifetime, only batting 130, has had 4 career home runs against the Phillies pitching. So that's concerning. And then in regards head-to-head with these same batters against Sanchez for Saturday's game, I mean, Ohtani's only batting 250, but he struck out 6 times in his career. Mookie Betts is batting 333, but he struck out 3 times in his career. And also, if you look at this, says Kiki Hernandez is batting 250, but he has a career home run against Sanchez. So that's something to be concerned about. Now, as regards to the Phils, the thing that really has caught me off guard when I looked at the offense lifetime against Dodgers hitters is the amount of times they have struck out against Dodgers pitching. I'm going to go I picked out 11 names, batters, regulars, and I will go through each of them with their averages and lifetime numbers, but the amount of strikeouts you got to hear with their career at bats against them is off the charts. Well, first there's Alec Bohm, who he doesn't have the amount of strikeouts, but he's only hit 226 lifetime against LA with only 4 RBIs. So you go, okay, at least he didn't strike out as much. The leading hitter on the Phils against Dodgers hitting is Edmundo Sosa, batting 318, but in his career, at 22 career at bats, he struck out 10 times. Next is Nick Castellanos, right fielder, lifetime 264 with a home run, but in 53 career at bats, 13 strikeouts. Then it just keeps going downhill. It's like falling off a cliff. Harrison Bader, center fielder who they got from Minnesota, bagged 231, 39 career at bats, 15 Ks. Then you go to Bryson Stott, 214 lifetime, 28 at bats, 9 Ks. Then you go to JT Realmuto, 205 career against the Dodgers with 15 Ks. Then you go to Bryce Harper, 196 with 2 lifetime homers, but in 46 career at bats against Dodgers pitching, 21 strikeouts. Then after that, you go to Trey Turner, 176, 51 career at bats, 18 Ks. Then after that, you go to Max Kepler from the left fielder, 162 lifetime. 4 home runs. He's hit the most out of any current Philly against Dodgers pitching. 37 at bats, though. He struck out 9 times. Then there's these other two, which are just astounding me with their career at bats here. Kyle Schwarber, 137 lifetime average against the Dodgers with a home run, which he did hit this year in September. However, in 51 career at bats, he has struck out 24 times. And then finally, you have Brandon Marsh. In 31 at bats in his career, he has struck out 16 times, and he has a average career 0.65 against LA's pitching. That is an alarming stat going into the series, which concerns you if you're a Phillies fan. How many times are they going to swing and miss against this team and not get on base and be frustrating like they were last year against the Mets when they went ice cold when you needed them to get hits, and instead they got out against New York and they were bounced out in the first round in the NLDS. So that's the key. Speaking of keys, what it comes down to is this, and it's simple. I probably said it earlier, but this has to get mentioned, is that for the Phillies to win this series, they have to basically knock any pitcher comes up with these 3 guys no more than the 5th inning. Get hits, work the counts, walks, whatever it takes. The key there is just so you can go against their bullpen, which has been their weakest point this year, Los Angeles. So you have to somehow, with all these practices and games, and change your mindset from last year. And if you can win the first 2 games, which I think is a must. I know you don't say must win game 1, especially and in game 2. I feel like you have to win the first 2 games at Citizens Bank Park before you head out to Los Angeles. If you don't, if you split, you might have a chance to win out there and maybe bring it back for 5. Perhaps maybe you win both. You never know. But if you were to say lose the first 2 back at home or first 2 at home at Citizens Bank Park, chances are you're toast, which would probably be the case. I think Phillies fans are more concerned that the Phillies hitters are the key to win the series more than the Phillies pitching, just because of what happened last year. And so we'll see about that. As for the prediction, I will not pick a winner in this. I think it's about 50-50 either way. There's a lot of LA's been there. They know how to win. They have a lot of seasoned veterans of the Mookie Bettses and Freddie Freemans, and Shohei is now showing up at the right time for them. And Kiki Hernandez is starting to get into that October mode. He's starting to play well. The key for the Phillies is it's time for the Bryce Harpers and Kyle Schwarbers and JT Realmutos and Trey Turners, the vets who've been there. It's time for them to show up and shell out at Citizens Bank Park. And that's going to be the other key too, which helps out the Phillies. The home field advantage. You're going to have 40,000 Saturday. You're going to have 40,000 Monday, and they're going to be loud. It's almost like the 10th man on the field with them. I will make, though, this one last prediction before we sign off for the first episode of the 400 level, and that's this. And this is my one prediction I will say, that whoever wins this series, I will believe, actually, I really do believe it, will be the National League representative for the World Series this upcoming year. I feel that the Dodgers and the Phillies can beat the Brewers, can beat the Cubs, and can beat the Padres. I think they have more talent. The Dodgers especially have more talent than those 3 teams. And the Phillies, I feel, can run with either of those 3 teams and beat them especially. I'm not really concerned or not sold, excuse me, on Milwaukee. Yes, Milwaukee is very good. Yes, Milwaukee is the number one seed. I do think that either one of these two teams can beat them, and as well as Chicago and as well as San Diego. So that's my take on the National League preview, the National League Division Series preview, excuse me. I will be back sometime Saturday night or early Sunday morning for game one analysis. What went right, what went wrong for the Phillies, and we will go from there. So thank you for the debut episode in terms of allowing me to Jesse, you can cut this part. I'm just going to do it again. The ending. So thanks for the debut episode. Cut this again. I know I messed up there at the ending. Thanks for listening to the 400 level. Thanks for listening to the 400 level, the first episode, and I will be talking Phillies baseball with you sometime this weekend. Or if, you can cut this big chunk out. This should be very easy for you with the editing. One more time. Thanks again. Wait, cut that. Thanks again for watching the 400 level debut episode, and I will be talking to you soon with some more Phillies baseball.